Thank you everybody for coming to our March of Solidarity. This is March number 5, and I want to say that you all are doing a fantastic job of getting the word out to the Armenian community and the Americans, in fact, within Glendale. As you know from last week, I announced our hunger strike. This is day 8. I'm feeling great. Mom, don't worry about me. I've lost 15 pounds already. That was the first week. Of course, the amount that you lose in the consecutive days following is a lot less. So I plan on going on, and I'm going to have a doctor visit me when I get down to 10% of my original weight, and that's coming up pretty soon. So basically, what we've got going today is we've got our hunger strike, we've got our protest here. The news of the day, as we posted on my site, is I actually went down to Adam Schiff's office a few days ago, the 21st, and I asked them what's going on. Is there any word from Adam Schiff's office or the Washington regarding the letter? And they basically said we can't say anything because you have the media with you. And I said, okay, well, why don't you say it to me in private? And they said, well, all I can do is pass on the word that you were here to Adam Schiff. The following day, I received a phone call from Adam Schiff's chief of staff, and basically what he told me was, he said the president has been informed, his staff has been informed of the letter, and they are contacting the Secretary of, or the State Department, and they're hoping to get it into the Secretary's hand. They're going to be asking for a written answer from both of them. And I asked how long it's going to take, and they said it could take, it's not a 3-day process, it could take a few weeks. So with that said, what we decided was, and as you saw our vehicle, now that we have the RV, because we were kicked out of where we were, and it was actually a very gracious Armenian who allowed us to keep warm. He left his heater on so I wouldn't freeze because it was very cold out there. He was very gracious to help us, but then he got a lot of fallout from the landlord who didn't want us, who in fact assaulted one of our people with an American flag, no less, and we filed battery charges against him, and we'll find out. We're going to push this issue because that's not right. We're all about rule of law. This is part of rule of law. Anyway, we got the RV, and we got some banners made up, some big banners as you saw. So we've decided that at the end of the month, or a couple days after the end of the month, depending on how we map out our travels and how many cities we're going to stop in, to speak to Americans across the United States about democracy, their rights, and what civil servants have to provide to them, and how our president and our government should not misrepresent our values, the core values that made America what it is today. So we're going to be heading towards Washington, D.C., hopefully, if everything works out, shortly after the end of the month. We're planning on being there on the 7th for Rafi's inauguration, which we're going to have in front of the Armenian embassy in Washington, D.C., and we're going to get the Armenian community there to join us. So we're going to do a Facebook event pretty soon, so they know what's going on and that we're on our way. And that's pretty much the long and short of that. Also, to finance, because it takes money to go to Washington and to tighten down the screws, we're starting a new project called $1 Democracy. And what $1 Democracy is not only a project to raise funds to promote democracy, it's also going to be a documentary. We're going to be collecting $1 from people, and your dollar represents a vote of I want democracy in the United States, and I want democracy throughout the world, because the way the program is going to work is the money that we collect, not only is it going to get us to Washington and make a lot of noise, it's going to pay for radio time, television time, literature, outreach. We're going to support organizations that are like-minded, that are promoting this stuff, and they will promote our sermon of what democracy is and what a civil servant is. On top of this, we will also support those countries in which the United States government has endorsed their corrupt president, and we will support organizations which are involved in promoting democracy and educating people what democracy is and what civil servants are supposed to do. And of course Armenia will be on our list because Armenia is one of the most recent victims of the American government legitimizing the election of Serge Sarkisyan, the #1 oligarch, the most corrupt person in Armenia today, who's in power, who controls over 50% of the wealth in Armenia today. It's on whatever is lucrative, Serge Sarkisyan has his hand in. So this project is beyond just going to Washington. If we're successful, this project is going to resonate throughout the world in places where people have been affected, and we're going to educate them to stand up for democracy if in fact their country claims to be democratic. And that's why the President of the United States, whether it be Obama, whether it be Bush, whether it be Reagan, and so on, whoever has legitimized a world leader who is corrupt and was known to be corrupt. As we know, Serge Sarkisyan in 2010, WikiLeaks has a cable from Armenia to Washington, D.C., which clearly states he's the #1 oligarch. And you do not endorse the #1 oligarch if you are a president of a country which promotes democracy. And we, the American people, not only the Armenian, but we, the American people, cannot tolerate this. And this is why when you go to Canada, the Canadians say, do not tell people you're an American, because it's not going to get you anywhere. And there's other places in Europe and so on where you do not want to tell people you're an American because it is not in your favor. So the Proud to be America saying that we're so proud of, that we say in America and we put on our bumper stickers, that doesn't work overseas, because our pride has been squashed by our foreign policy that our people in Washington have developed over the last probably 100 years, messing around with other people's countries. And as a result, we have thrown so many good people who live in foreign lands that are human beings at the end of the day into a really bad situation, like in Armenia, where there are slave camps. Yes, go onto my site, you can read about slave camps, that people are no longer a name, they are a number. And the Armenian government has had this brought to their attention by an individual that was slave number 70, I think 2 or something, and his child was 186 and so on. And instead of closing down that slave camp, which is owned by an oligarch, they went in there, they sent in a Delta force to take his family out, including his television and his belongings, and they said, case closed. So these are the things that America is legitimizing, and these are the things we as Americans can no longer tolerate. Our voice must be heard, and your vote of confidence and your support in this is only $1. A single dollar. I hope enough people are like-minded will get us to Washington and will get us to start to educate the American public on what's really going on. And this is not some crazy left-wing policy. This is the reality. And here's our second dollar, in fact, that Peter gave. We got our first dollar from a non-Armenian yesterday while I was parked in the John's parking lot. No Armenian came close, but this guy pulls up in his truck and he has a half-hour conversation with me. He's a man who's been in the military for 6 years in intelligence. He knows what's going on, and he said, I want to give you some money. I have to give you some money. I said, no, it's really not necessary. And he said, no, I have to. And I said, okay, then just give me $1 for democracy. So, and here's our second dollar. Thank you, Robert. So we got $2 here at this protest, and I want to see a lot more of these. This is not for me, this is for us. And this is for our future, the future of Armenia, the future of America, the future of the world. And here we got 2 more people, 2 more dollars. We're up to 4 here. So here we go. We got $4 and we got $1 more in the RV. And here we go. We're up to number 6. And here we go. Everybody's donating here their dollars. We need to collect the dollars. Everybody that believes in democracy, send in your $1, because that $1, I will guarantee you, is not going in my pocket because I'm very well off. That $1 is going to be accounted for, every penny of it, and it is going to be spread throughout the world to those organizations that are promoting what we, the American people, the people of the world, truly believe in. We deserve a better life. And people like Serge Sarkisyan and his oligarchy thugs, we need to We need to make them illegitimate. We need to make them accountable for what they're doing, and they need to be punished. And the people of Armenia, the people of Saudi Arabia, the people all around the world that we have legitimized, we the American people, me, you, everybody, we have legitimized it, and we haven't raised our voice until now saying, Mr. President, Washington, D.C., this is not acceptable. Enough is enough. Thank you.